You have your phone by your side while you're working. Phone lights up, suddenly you see a notification, then you see, what's happening here? And then you go to check, what was that notification? So then you read that. Maybe it was a DM from one of your friends. So picture this, you're having your Saturday coffee as always, and you're on your phone scrolling through news, and you come across two articles. So the first one is about how Tom Cruise donated $2.5 million to a charity of his choice. And the second title is about how Tom Cruise is caught up in the latest Scientology scandal. Now, if you have a choice between these two titles, which one are you more likely to click on? Well, if you said the second one, you are probably among the 90% majority who agree. Most people would actually click on the negative news because we are actually conditioned from the beginning of time to always click on the negative news, to seek negative feedback. You know why? Because we always know that if we have positive feedback, we know, okay, at least we're in the safe zone. It's all good. But if there's something negative that we need to know about, we need to be preparing right now. So this is an evolutionary development that's been there for ages. And because of this aspect, we always feel we need to know about what the negatives could be, what we need to prepare for. And because of that, we are always attracted to negative news. But it's not just that you chase negative news for this reason, but we have been so conditioned into looking for the negative news that now we feel that all positive news out there is probably lying to us as well. And we feel, well, surely they're lying to us. And surely the negative news is probably the right thing. So which one is really right? Is there really a correct answer? Is there not? Find out in this video. Obviously, this is nothing new to us. We all know that every time negative news will always outsell the positive news because people are just conditioned that way. And there's actually a phenomenon which is very common in the journalism industry, which they call yellow journalism. So this is the manner by which most journalists will sensationalize and over-exaggerate on news so that they can sell papers, so that they can attract your attention. For that reason, they will just put out outlandish claims, right? Maybe that's not what's conveyed throughout the news article, but just to get your attention, to get that clickbait, right? For that reason, they'll put those titles in. And well, these days, whether you like it or not, whether you know this or not, most people, especially in the younger generation, get their news from social media. And TikTok stars are basically the new journalistic reporters who convey the message to the younger public. So you might be asking, how does this now relate with this week's video about doom scrolling? Well, because when the younger generation is chasing news, they're going to be on social media, right? So you have Instagram and YouTube mainly, and obviously TikTok. So then they will be in this endless pursuit to know more. And guess what? In their pursuit to know more, they're not just chasing news, but rather they're chasing the negative news. Just like older people do with newspapers, these people do the same thing with social media. They keep getting caught in this endless cycle of, I keep scrolling, I'm still going. 3 hours pass and we're still scrolling. Sometimes it's for the news, sometimes it's for the memes. But regardless, you're always on social media, and this doom scrolling is a huge problem. Whether you admit it or not, that's probably something everybody needs to check on, including me. Sometimes it can take a real big toll on your mental health as well. So you have to always check that the doom scrolling doesn't get too bad. But unfortunately for most of us, it has. And sometimes that can cause you stress and depression. And because it's like a negative cycle, right? Because you keep consuming content, it's a never-ending loop and you keep going back to it. And eventually your brain gets triggered in such a way that it only likes the negative content. So even if you see the positive news, you're going to ignore it. And that is a danger that can really happen. So which is why I feel if you can step away from doom scrolling, right? By God's grace, if we can, then that's probably the best for all of us. So I thought about it and I found about 2 or 3 tips which could help you guys out. So let's discuss that right now. Here's the thing. The first thing you need to do, get this away from you. Your phone, you don't need it as much. Because all the social media content that you see is what's actually driving your negativity, right? So first thing we need to do before all the positive content comes in and everything else, first thing we need to do is minimize the negativity. And then you have to think, when is your negativity at the maximum? Mainly, it comes from social media. So where does social media come from? Where do you use it the most? On your phone. So either minimize the usage of your phone or Just take off those social media apps completely, right? You might think this is an absolutely stupid decision, right? You might be saying, I want to communicate with my friends. Well, fine. What you can do is just take a messenger app instead. You don't need Instagram to really message people, do you? So step away from that social media content. That's the idea. Let's say Instagram is your main source of negative feedback. Then delete Instagram immediately and let's move on to other social media platforms to talk to your friends, and instead start to get reliable news from just a few select articles and sources. So once you have the news ready, you don't need any more feedback, right? Especially if these newspapers are reliable and non-biased, at least comparatively non-biased, then you get the news, but also you're avoiding most of the negativity which comes through other people's commentary. Okay, let's say maybe that's a step too far for you. Then there's another thing that you can do, that is just take off all notifications. It doesn't matter what notifications you've set, take them all off. Whether that's regarding posts from your favorite people, whether that's regarding likes or comments that you received on your own posts, whether that's DMs. Because guess what? This is how people usually get sucked into this negativity, right? So the first step would be, okay, you have your phone by your side while you're working. Phone lights up, suddenly you see a notification, then you see, what's happening here? And then you go to check, what was that notification? So then you read that. Maybe it was a DM from one of your friends. So then you see, okay, then let's see what that is. And then you see, they sent you a reel. So you're like, okay, let's watch it. Then you click the reel, you watch it, it's funny. Okay, let's scroll to the next one. Well, that's funny as well. Scroll to the next one. And then by the time you already reach the third scroll, you're already on your way to doom scrolling. So you keep going, 3, 4, 5. Eventually, you've probably crossed 100 reels already. And by then, you're already depressed because you've already seen a few negative reels on your way. And you can't just avoid them. So you still scroll past it. And that's how it finally sucks you in. So if you can just take notifications off completely, you're avoiding like half the trouble immediately, because most of the trouble comes from notifications. Somebody clicks the notification, they go inside, see what's what, and then they get into the reels and they get into the posts, and then you just keep scrolling and there's no escape from that. Then your third step would be a follow-up to the first step that we talked about, and this is where you can set times for when you'll watch these videos. You know how you watch the reels throughout the day? Yeah, that's no more. So what you're going to do is, you set maybe half an hour time blocks at the start of the day and at the end of the day, and limit it to this time, right? 1 hour is a lot, I'm telling you, but let's just say you want to take it slowly. Let's say half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. You can just doom scroll as you like, but then set a timer and immediately step away. But my opinion would be just step away completely. But let's say you have some sort of self-control, then let's make it 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. And apart from that, any other time where you feel like scrolling, you're going to replace it with some other fun activity of your choice, whatever that is. Maybe that's even socializing. Find something that you find very interesting and replace the doom scrolling with that activity. Let's even say, okay, in my case, I would go on a walk maybe. I'd socialize with friends. I would read a book maybe, something like that. But doesn't even have to be something productive, so to say. Just something that's not doom scrolling, something that's not on your phone. And then finally, we come to step 4, which is now you can shift your focus onto consuming more positive content, which is not the things that you've been watching all this while. Because while news is good, the negativity surrounding news is not always good for you. Now, as corny as this sounds, what you do is you go and look at self-improvement videos and you look at things that will actually uplift your mood. Anything that can uplift your mood. Doesn't have to be self-improvement videos, but whatever makes you feel better. Just listen to that, maybe good quotes or something like that. As your mindset becomes more positive, right? As your outlook on life becomes more positive, then you'll see that this doom scrolling thing, you don't really need that. Because that's when you feel okay. When you're happy, right? When you're really happy, you do not want to be keeping up with what other people are doing. You don't care, really. You just want to mind your own business. So in that case, you're like, okay, I don't need to hear about what this guy's saying. I don't care about what my other friend is doing. What I just want to do is what I want to do. And that's some other activity that's going to probably improve my own life. That's going to give me some satisfaction, not what other people want me to do. And that's when you'll see you're going to step away from doom scrolling. In fact, you're probably not even going to use social media as much as you used to. And with that, you've stopped doom scrolling for the rest of your life. And you might be asking now, what is the next step I can take? Well, to find that out, you can check out one of these 2 videos right here to focus your attention towards something greater to help you out even more. So smash subscribe, slap a like on, and always remember, never stop dreaming. See you all.